All praise belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for providing us another day of our life. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make this day as a source of khair and success. And we ask Allah to protect us from all types of evil. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said that the Iman of a person becomes tested every single day when he starts his day. And everything that you see around us, everything a person sees, does, watches, somehow or somewhere his Iman is being affected, in a good way or in a bad way. Either he sees something that becomes a motivator for his faith and he starts to do it more. He sees a good action, he sees a good person. These are all signs or actions that a person is involved in where it makes him a stronger believer in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Or on the other side, he sees wrong things, areas that he was supposed to stay away from but he involves himself in, things that are disturbing against the orders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, injustice, areas of having, people misuse their authorities or people misuse their responsibilities that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given him. So there are so many things that affects the Iman of a person. Now, in both of these scenarios, a believer has been given this Iman so that he can protect, do not misuse the blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and at the same time try to become the one that Allah Azza wa Jal loves. So that is a life of a believer every single day when he starts his day. That you will see things around you that are going to disturb you or they are going to make you happy. They're going to be against the orders of Allah or accordance to the orders of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Actions that will become motivator for you to do good and actions that will become motivator for you to do evil. Behaviors of other individuals that will provoke you to do wrong to those who have done wrong to you. And at the same time, your authority provoking you to provide injustice to others or to do injustice to others. These are all effectiveness, all of these items are affecting the belief of this individual. And the more a person promotes the acts of good in his life, the Iman of this person becomes stronger. Because Iman becomes the motivator of action, and action makes Iman grow even greater. If a person has belief of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he hears about good action, this Iman becomes a motivator for him to do that good action. He hears about or sees something happening which is wrong, this Iman becomes the motivator of disliking what is happening, disapproving what is happening. There is not, a lot of times, it's not much about what you can do in your capacity. It's rather seeing what's being done, which is wrong, and whatever you're able to do within your ability, but morally is about protecting yourself. This is why from the teachings of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he taught us that when you see someone involved in something wrong, or someone who has been affected, through a calamity, then you're supposed to supplicate to Allah Azza wa Jal, Alhamdulillah alladhi afani mimma ibtalaka Allahu bihi wa faddalani ala kathirin mimman khalaqa tafdila. That I praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who has protected me from doing that type of behavior which you are involved in. Or whatever action you're involved in, or whatever calamity that has befallen upon you, right? Anything that a person is affected by, which is harmful to his body or to his faith. When a believer sees that, he should be making supplication to Allah, or she should be supplicating to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that I'm thankful to Allah that Allah protected me and did not get me involved in what this person is involved in. Why? Because if we don't have this and we just have a careless mindset towards actions that are happening, then that evil eventually comes inside. And many of times, when a person who is involved in a bad habit, he doesn't or she doesn't realize that I'm doing this wrong, right? A lot of times you see people are doing favoritism to their own kind, to their own types, right? And on their side, they're talking about compassion and, being nice to their own types or own people. But on the other side, the type of injustice they're doing to other individuals is causing harm to them and those who are around. This is why, as a believer, what is our duty when we start our day in the morning? The first thing is have good intentions in our hearts. That today I will do those actions which will make my Iman stronger, which will make my connection to Allah stronger. And I will refrain from those actions which will make my Iman weak and which will disconnect me from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then, around our environment, when we see something happening in such a way, then that becomes a test of our faith. Either we get involved in it in a way that we support someone who is wrong, or we try to aid someone who is doing something wrong, or on the other side, we stop ourselves and we protect our faith and we protect our a'mal, and we are able to do what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala likes. So that is a challenge of a believer every single day, and this is where our Iman is the most valuable thing. And the Sahaba, radiyallahu ajma'in, we see from their lives that how they used to not only worry about protecting what Allah has given them as far as belief and actions are concerned, but they were maintaining it in such a way that it stays energetic, it stays motivated at all times. That's why you see in the life of Nabi sallallahu, in the life of Sahaba radwanullahi alayhim ajma'in, oftentimes they would sit together and they would talk about the greatness of Allah, and they will talk about how we can protect our faith. This is a very common statement you will find in the statements of Sahaba, Ijlis bina nu'min sa'atan. Sit with us for a while so we can believe in Allah Azza wa Jal for a few minutes. What does that mean? So we can refresh our faith. And this is why Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam used to tell the Sahaba, Jaddidu imanakum, go and refresh your faith. Because refreshing our faith keeps our faith strong. And when we make our faith weak, then at the time of difficulties, at the time of trials, the person is not able to succeed. And then the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, يَبِيعُ دِينَهُ بِعَرَضٍ مِّنَ الدُّنْيَا. That a person goes and he sells his faith. He sells his religion for things of this world, either money or position. عَرَضٍ مِّنَ الدُّنْيا, things of this world, either money or position or whatever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given. And then that becomes a dangerous factor for this believer and his downfall starts. We ask Allah's protection. We ask Allah to keep our Iman strong. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us amongst the fortunate ones who are protecting their Iman and A'mal throughout the day and throughout our lives. Ameen ya Rabbal Alameen. Jazakallahu khairan. Subhanallah wa bihamdi. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika wa nashhadu an la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka.